I was with the Royal Regina Rifles in the late 80s and through the 90s. My starting with Royal Regina Rifles was really pretty simple. I had an opportunity to be exposed to it in the summertime, then I was very hooked in the reserve experience, because the military reserves for me goes back to the Royal Regina Rifles being a reserve regiment. Citizen soldiers mustered in the time of war, rising to the call, performing, excelling, and at the end or the cessation of hostilities, going back to what you're doing before, a citizen, a contributor. Going back to the military experiences is just fantastic. For many of us, there's a lot of Cold War veterans, I'll call them, guys that were contributing throughout the 70s and early 80s in a really dark time for the military, and they persevered. They brought with them a spirit where you felt marginalized but still needed, and you would go and contribute. So in those days, as I mentioned, we were shouldered on the European commitments from in the Cold War and the whole Balkan conflict. There was a time in between there where overseas operations were almost a gem to try to shoot for. So you would try to perform the best you could to get that opportunity to go overseas, because ultimately you wanted to be as close to the fire as you could in the mind of a 20-year-old, right? Cyprus was there, and that was the only outlet at the time. It was a great experience for a young boy from Saskatchewan. To understand how other people live, to understand the decisions that were made by their leadership, to get them into a conflict. It's something you don't contemplate till you get there. So yes, you carry a rifle. Yes, you do represent a military force, but yet you're part of the larger landscape of global politics, and you get to see that. So it's a different perspective, and it's a growing experience. I was in Cyprus when Saddam Hussein's army rolled into Kuwait. We said, we're the nearest, we're ready to go, let's go, let's go, let's go. And then you step back and you thought, this is a bigger party than just us there. And we were only hundreds of miles away. When you sit here in Canada and you hear stories of expats escaping through Kuwait over Range Rovers through the desert, it means nothing here. We can shoot a bearing and we could look, in that direction, know that 450, 500 miles away, that's the route that they took. It's that close. It's that close. And so, to a man, that entire battalion was said, it's logical sense that they would just pick us up, take us there, and we could do good. Action, adventure, excitement, it's all there for you within the reserves.